So in today's video, we are going to be talking about college life hacks that you need to know and that every college student needs to know. So this is another video in my college series. I will leave a link down below to my college playlist. I literally have like tens and tens and tens of college related content, and I think we're like over 100. Don't quote me on that, but we definitely have a lot of college content and advice videos for you guys to help you guys succeed. I feel like we're a little crooked. Let me straighten you out. I think that's better. But yeah, so I wanted to come up with some hacks that I've used while in college. I'm now about to be a senior, and before I went into college, I wanted to search up a ton of college life hacks that I should know from people who were in college, people who had graduated, so that way I can kind of learn from people who are older than me, who've experienced it, that I can benefit from. I always love looking up to older mentors to learn from because they've already experienced it and have a lot of like knowledge that they can kind of pass down to you. So like with a lot of those college life hacks that I've learned, I actually used a lot of those and it has helped me do so well in college. So I wanted to make a list and kind of pass those down on to you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so the first thing that you guys all should do as college students is write everything down in your planner. So I'm a huge fan of personal planners. I actually have mine right here that I use like all the time. So even when I'm not in school, like now during summertime, I'm using a planner. And when you write every single thing down for your week or your assignments, it lets you have an organized mind and thoughts. So if there's something that is due within the next week or something that I need to get done within that week, I always write it down. Or even if something is due within a couple weeks or a month, I like to go down to those pages and kind of remind myself later on so I don't forget it. It helps me become a lot more stress-free because I'm not focusing on all those things, because I'm not trying to remember on what was I supposed to do and then forgetting it. So if there's something in my head that I'm like, I need to get that done, I write it down so I don't forget. So I highly recommend you guys write literally everything down in a planner. And then along with this is starting with your lowest priority task when you guys have your planner and for homework that you need to do. So if you write things down like daily and you have all the things that you need to complete, I always start with the thing that's the easiest to complete. That way I can quickly check it off. I never start with the thing that's going to take me the longest or something that's hardest, because it's going to take a lot longer, so it's going to make me feel a lot more overwhelmed when I have a long list of things that I need to get done. So if I just like check off those simple tasks that I can get done quickly, it makes me feel like I'm actually getting some progress done throughout the day and actually feeling a little bit more accomplished. So getting those lower priority tasks out of the way before you complete your more tougher task is something that I definitely recommend, and also helps you not procrastinate. My third college life hack is definitely to use those discounts that come in the pamphlets that your school gives you. And I don't know if this is only for U of A, but if you go to U of A, specifically, we get like pamphlets every semester of like different information from the school, and at the end of the pamphlet there are tons of different like coupons from like local restaurants and local places that a lot of college students go to. So I've started to take advantage of a lot of those, and I keep all those pamphlets, cut out all the coupons, keep them in my wallet, because a lot of those restaurants and places that are in those are places that I regularly go to. So then I'm like, oh great, I already have a coupon for it, and it saves you some money. So a lot of people don't really take advantage of those. So if your school like passes out those like pamphlets that come with discounts and coupons, make sure you take advantage of those. My next life hack is to make a friend in your class. This is always one of my like freshman advice that I always add, and it really is such a life hack in college, because if you don't put in effort to like know anyone in your class, it's gonna make your semester so difficult, especially when you are sick or if you aren't in class. It's gonna make it a lot more stressful if you don't have someone that you can just like text and be like, hey, what did we do today? What were the notes? Is there anything that I need to know because I wasn't in class? It makes your life so much easier when you like have friends and people that you know in your class that can pretty much catch you up to speed and let you know what's going on. The next thing you want to take advantage of is your dog therapy at your school. This is another thing that I don't know if it's particular to U of A, but if you go to University of Arizona during finals week, and I don't know how it's going to be this year because of the pandemic, but usually there are like therapy dogs that will come on your campus that you can spend time with, especially during finals week or even in the College of Education, which is my major. They have it more regularly. You can go and spend time with dogs, get your mind off of things, and it really is something super comforting to do, especially if you have a dog back at home and you haven't seen them in a while. It really helps to just go play with the dog, and it makes you really happy. So I recommend going to go see those therapy dogs that your school provides. My next life hack is to create a calming and peaceful work environment for you to study in. So if you're like me, you don't like going to the library to study and prefer to study in your room, I highly recommend you just create a calming workplace for you to study in. So I know a lot of my friends have to go to the library to study and just like get out of their room and can't really study in their bedroom or on their bed, but that's something that I always have done and it's been fine for me. But I always like to create a nice work environment, so I always make sure my room isn't a mess and it's clean and everything's organized. I like to put on like a oil diffuser, some nice lighting, just making it a really nice and calm work environment to study in, and it just makes it super peaceful and relaxing. So I don't know how you can kind of translate this when you're working in like a public space like a library, but if you are someone like me who likes to study at home in your room, I would definitely recommend like either like lighting a candle, nice lights, make sure everything's clean, just create that nice peaceful study environment. Next life hack that I definitely recommend would be to create a short class week. So if you have a little bit more choice in creating your schedule, I know especially as freshmen it's a little bit harder to pick your schedule exactly how you want it, but if you have the opportunity to kind of plan out your schedule exactly how you want it, I would definitely recommend having shorter weeks of school, so that way you can have like a couple busy days that are filled up and having other days where you have nothing to do. I had this like my sophomore year where I had like 4-day weekends, Friday and Monday were off, and then I had my busier days Tuesday and Thursday, and then had class on Wednesday, and it was so nice having those 4-day weekends and having those days in between the week where you have days off. It makes it so nice, and it's a lot better than when I had my schedule like Monday through Friday, 1 or 2 classes a day, because you still are having to be interrupted throughout your day and kind of plan your whole schedule and day around that class, even if it's just one. So if you have like nothing to do on certain days, it's so nice. So I would definitely plan for a shorter class week. The next thing I recommend, if you are someone who like has a hard time waking up for your classes and ignoring those alarms that go off in the morning, then something that helps me when I kind of like get used to my alarm and not waking up right away to it is to change up your alarm. So normally for me, I don't know if this is like scientific based, but if it's like an alarm that I wake up with like pretty regularly, I kind of like get used to it, and after a while like tend to sleep through it and won't wake up right away. So after like every few months, I do change the sound of the alarm, something that my mind is not used to. So when I hear it in the morning, I wake up right away and actually don't sleep through it. So if you have this problem, I definitely recommend like changing up your ringtone or your alarm sound. My next hack is like a little study hack that really helps. So if you're someone who writes your notes handwritten instead of doing them online, I highly recommend you to transfer those notes onto a Google Doc. So if I'm in a huge lecture, I normally just keep my notes on a Google Doc, but normally my smaller classes, if my teacher is like telling us some information and my laptop's not out, or normally because of my major we do go off campus, so I don't really have Wi-Fi for my laptop, so I'll write a lot of those notes on paper. So what I do when I get home is transfer all those notes onto a Google Doc, just so I have all those files online, and if something were to happen to my notebook where I lose it or anything, everything is still online and all in one place. So it makes it so easy, and it also helps you like remember a lot of that information. So I just highly recommend, if you're someone who handwrites your notes, to also put it onto a Google Doc, because it will also help you have a better memory when you're studying later on because you've written it twice. And yeah, I just highly recommend that. And then another like study hack is to quiz yourself, especially on Quizlet. So I talked about this in like my 10 apps that every college student should have. So Quizlet is such a lifesaver when you're studying for your tests. There are a lot of different formats that you can use to study on Quizlet. It's not just flashcards. So this is why it's kind of beneficial to have it online, all your notes ready, because you can copy and paste all of those onto flashcards and not only study through flashcards, but also study with the other testing and quizzing formats that Quizlet has. So I definitely recommend quizzing yourself. It makes you feel a lot more confident when going in to take your test as well. So I definitely recommend everyone do that. Same with another study hack is to use YouTube as a study tool. I did this a lot, especially in high school, where if there was like something that we're learning in math that I didn't really understand and my notes weren't really helping me, I would normally just like go into YouTube, and there were like a ton of videos kind of explaining it in a different way than my teacher or professor would, where I was able to really understand it a lot better because I could go back, I can pause, I can like slowly at my own pace like understand and learn the information. So if you're like that too, I definitely recommend like using YouTube as a study tool, especially for like math, like anything that you're studying. You can literally just search up whatever content you're learning and a ton of videos will pop up that teach you how to do it. So if you didn't learn or understand how to do it in class, that will really help you a lot. And then my last college life hack is to meet with your advisor often. This will help you so much to make sure that you are staying on track of graduating in 4 years or 3.5 years, whatever your plan is, to make sure that you aren't taking classes that are unnecessary, to make sure that you are not taking classes that you need, and it just really helps you stay on track when you are communicating and meeting regularly and aren't only just seeing them once a year or like not at all. So highly recommend meeting with your advisors regularly to make sure you're on track of graduating when you want and taking all the necessary requirements for your major. So yeah, those are all of my college life hacks. I think there was like about 12 of those in there. I really hope this video helped you guys and can help you succeed this year. If you're a first year college student or second, third, fourth year even like me, can adopt some of these college life hacks, help you have a better successful year. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys!